Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Q&A with us, the British Fist.
Catching.
I am Mr. Parkin. I am staying classy, and this is none other than NJ.
Who doesn't stay classy? What's up?
Is that a WrestleMania 27 shirt I see? The only match that was any fucking good on that card, that's all I will say. We're going to answer some more questions from you guys, and if you want to keep asking us questions, comment section below. It's the best place to put it. We're going to start with Aaron Crace, who asked us a lot of questions. We'll swim through these. If Edge didn't hurt his neck, do you think that he would still be wrestling? I think he'd still be... I think he would, and I think he would be a big part of Triple H, a big part of wrestling backstage as well if he did retire.
The thing is, his speech showed that he weren't ready to retire.
Cool.
His speech that he made. So I really do think if he didn't have that injury, he would have still gone on and been most probably a top heel for the company.
And I think he would have been a big part of WWE and their future going forward in terms of putting people over and also being some kind of backstage guy as well.
Of course.
Like an agent or a producer or a trainer or something.
Eventually, yeah.
Would you like to see Shawn Michaels versus Triple H at WrestleMania 32? Nope.
They're only reports, so I'm hoping the WWE don't confirm it. Them trying to bring Shawn Michaels out of retirement for WrestleMania. I'm like, the word retirement is the thing that I respect Shawn Michaels for. Since being retired, he's only really had that WrestleMania moment when he helped Triple H defeat Sting. He's not really came back and done it long term. So for the WWE to bring him back to face Triple H, yes, it's a big match, but it's bringing him out of retirement, which I think Shawn Michaels is happy to be in, even if he misses the WWE.
I haven't seen these reports anywhere, but I hope that he doesn't come out of retirement, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Who do you think should be in the WWE Hall of Fame? If you're talking this year, I mean, Sting's already gone in.
Yeah.
What other names are floating out there?
We said the Freebirds. We said that.
The Freebirds have been, reported to go in. Undertaker is the kind of, I think he's the kind of guy that could definitely go in.
I'm looking at, like, I'm sure the WWE could pull some strings somewhere, but Owen Hart, we're still waiting for that moment. But this year, I don't think they'll have the quickness ability to do that.
They've done the DVD, so you think that would be the next step. I mean, I'm just trying to think of names off the top of my head.
Vader's in, isn't he?
Right, so
Vader, he's in.
Vader, I'm not sure. I can't remember.
But
My memory of the Hall of Fame is not very good. That's all I'll say. What is your favourite Chris Benoit match? Probably the one at WrestleMania 20 when he won the title.
I go a bit old. Like, there's all these great matches that he's had with, like, William Regal,
Jericho,
Chris Jericho,
Eddie.
Kurt Angle. There's not specific matches, but any of those feuds work. He's just a great performer, minus what's happened. But it's hard to pick a bad match that Benoit's been in.
I mean, as for a favourite, I think just for nostalgia and what happened, WrestleMania 20 is the pinnacle in my opinion.
Triple threat.
The triple threat match, yes. Do you think the Jeff Hardy and Matt should return to WWE? I mean, they're a big part of TNA now. I wouldn't mind them bringing Jeff back, but I don't know about Matt.
I personally think the fact is that they're not seeming to re-sign their contracts with TNA. So I'm looking at, you've got the Dudleys, their income to the WWE, in my opinion, weren't as big as it could have been. So if you're going to bring in the Hardy Boys, you're going to do it right this time. Probably have them win the tag titles and put people over that way. So I personally would like them both back. Because Jeff Hardy coming back as a singles competitor, great. But we've got enough singles competitors to put people over. So it's really about improving other areas, which is the tag team.
Well, with, and I'm not sure if you've seen this news, but with Jeff Hardy signing a new deal for TNA, and Matt Hardy being the world champion, I don't see them leaving TNA very soon.
I don't think Matt will be a long-term world champion.
No, but if they're putting the championship on him, you're kind of thinking, well, they probably want to just stay around. That's all I'm saying. Do you think that Jeff Jarrett will bring Hulk Hogan to Global Force Wrestling? No, he wouldn't have the money. He wouldn't have the money, unfortunately.
There again, reports again. I mention reports just because they're the big things out there on the internet, of course. But there's a probability, it's not the word, that the relationship may not be fully repaired, but to bring Hogan back, because Triple H's point of view is that you can't really write out Hulk Hogan from the WWE.
No, I mean, and as a, if they're going to want to try and put over 100,000 people in the seats, Hulk Hogan is one of those guys that people will come to see. even in his old age and even with all his controversy.
Yeah.
Do you think the Hulk Hogan will return to TNA or WWE?
WWE.
I mean, yeah, he'll definitely return to WWE at some point. I think time has passed now where people have kind of forgotten about the whole thing that happened with him to a degree. He's not ever going to return to TNA because they now they don't have the money. That's the reason why they let him go, because it was just costing them too much. Do you think the WWE should make Dolph Ziggler and Tyler Breeze a tag team? I mean, they could be a jobber tag team, I suppose. No?
Dolph Ziggler's never really going to be escalated to the world title scene. I think his chance of becoming champion has come and gone, even though he may still be young. Tyler Breeze, you know, people say they brought him in wrong compared to what he was in NXT. I don't like the character, so to be honest, put him into a tag team might be the best thing for him to keep him secure in some kind of division.
And I suppose the problem with Tyler Breeze has always been that the guy just kind of looks like a job guy. I know the guy is obviously very talented and the gimmick has worked for him in NXT, but at the end of the day, when you come to the big leagues and you look like Tyler Breeze, he just looks like the job guy.
True.
It just does. You just can't get away from it. True. Robert Hernandez, would making more number one contender matches for the belts rather than just jumping into championship belt storylines help both the titles and the wrestlers in the storylines? Yeah, obviously, me and Njs are both a big fan of number one contendership matches. I don't have a problem with a storyline meaning they chase after the belt, because I think I would rather have a good storyline than, you know, than have a number one contender match and then just being thrown in there.
Even though this is not really, it's like they have to do something because they're building their way to WrestleMania. Wrestlemania's the big point, but they've got no more contendership. They've got Brock, Ambrose, and Reigns fighting no more contendership to play Triple H at WrestleMania, but that's not really good enough. That's like concentrating on the main event scene. You've still got the Intercontinental, you've got the US, and I do think bringing no more contenderships with hopefully exciting opponents would draw interest and at least give you a match made to fill up time before the actual title match.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind number one contendership matches. It's just that I think a bit of story has to go with the feud a little bit. And a lot of times WWE don't do that. But I'm all for number one contendership matches. Just I don't like it when they do number one contendership matches and then they just throw the match together. It's like, yeah, it's for the title. There you go, sorted. Or they're doing it because they think it'll be a good match.
I think
have a storyline, please. Have a reason why these two guys want to face off. Have a reason why he wants to go after
I think with the way the WWE is going, with some of the like repeated matches or two guys who seem to be against each other week after week or in segments week after week after week, you've pretty much got something to work on there, but they just use it as just a match, you know. I would prefer, if you're having these two guys in segments week after week after week, make it build up to something.
Paul Erickson Alejandrino, what are your thoughts on James Storm in NXT? I mean, he wasn't there for long.
Nope.
I mean, he's gone back to TNA. TNA, I think, offered him more money, but I think James Storm in NXT was a good thing. I mean, I don't think he would be on the main roster, far from it, but I think James Storm is one of those guys that is definitely a good trainer. You could definitely teach the boys in NXT and developmental a thing or two. And especially if you feud with the guy, you can get nuances off him and stuff like that. These little things that make a big difference. So I was all happy. I was very happy for James Storm being in NXT, despite the fact that it was a very short run, so to speak.
I'm going to be two-sided about this because it's how I feel. You've got James Storm, one of TNA's top guys, going over to, in a way, it's NXT, but still the WWE. You'd see that as a good thing for James Storm. He's moving on, he's growing, which is good. But when James Storm went back to TNA, it shows it's not the brand that is important to him. Yes, it might be the money, but the fact they went back to TNA must mean that TNA, yes, money, like you said, but also the company may be doing something right for him going forward.
Yeah, I think the main reason why I went back is because TNA finally started offering guaranteed contracts again. So, you know, whereas before he was on a pay per appearance deal, so he wasn't getting paid much because, you know, TNA had very little TV tapings, very little house. I don't even think they did house shows or live events. So he was probably at the time getting more money working in NXT like maybe 100 grand a year, and then TNA came and offered him 200 grand a year, working, you know, probably very much the same dates and stuff like that. So you pick that. Plus you'd be a bit more of a focal point of the promotion.
As much as I agree with that, if he did stay with NXT, there's always that chance to move up to the WWE, where of course you're going to be contracted, of course you're going to be working week shows. I think, yes, he may want a good income coming in, but I think the chance to work for the WWE may or could have been more important to him.
Demetrius Blackwell, why did you stop doing NXT reviews? Well, quite frankly, I stopped doing them mainly due to the fact that I was a bit tired of spending time doing NXT reviews for 100 views. It was pointless. I mean, my reviews used to get 1,000 plus views, and I was very happy with that. And then once they started hitting 200, 100, it was just like, what's the point? You know, there really is no point of it.
I personally think it's also a little bit more, because we get 100 or something views for Q&As, but we're still doing them. I personally think it's just your love for wrestling. Yes, NXT's, you know, better than WWE, but I still think it's the feeling of wrestling that makes you think, here I am watching wrestling, talk about wrestling, well, even if it's the best promotion.
I never necessarily got that feeling of NXT. It was just like, you know, I didn't dislike NXT. I didn't stop reviewing it because it was bad or I was fed up of it. It was just that I just got to the point where I was just like, well, what's the point in doing this review for 100 views? You know, just, you know, and you've got to watch the show, you've got to do your notes, you've got to edit your video. It can take a couple hours when I could be doing something a lot better and a lot more productive, in my opinion. So I just thought, fuck it, I'm just going to stop doing this. So I just did. It's just how it's like. I know, you got to remember, I've been reviewing the show every week since like late October. So I've been reviewing the show every single week. I mean, listen, every single fucking week. You can go back and check the dates since late October. I think it was late October 2011 when it was SCW. So I've been reviewing NXT for 4 years. And maybe, no, probably 3 to 4 years. Every fucking week. Come on, give me a break.
And I think the Bray Wyatt kidnapping had a bit of a traumatic experience on your reviewing of... Good times, people. Good times.
It's not reminding me of that. What are your thoughts on Brock Lesnar being rumoured as a Rumble favourite? I think sadly he's the best option, as Ambrose already got beat clean by Reigns in 8 minutes. Cena winning and facing Reigns at Mania when Reigns beat Sheamus would be a bad idea, but I just can't see anyone else winning. Bryan isn't realistic either, even if he was healthy. I mean, if Brock Lesnar is going to be in the Rumble, he's always going to be a favourite because he's believable.
True.
I mean, the guy could be injured and you'd still think he was believable just because he's Brock Lesnar. True. They built him up to be believable.
Even though the WWE now is working on end it could happen, because before the Rumble you saw Triple H and Roman Reigns, the champion, having a feud, so you could pretty much put together what is likely to happen at the Rumble. It's not like, or end it could happen in this Rumble, anyone could win, because you still got the feeling that the WWE are building up to a particular moment to happen. But if it weren't like that, yes, you would look at Brock thinking, they put Brock in, you know, he's an unstoppable beast. There's no other real wrestler in the WWE right now that can take that guy down. But, you know, you mentioned Ambrose. He made it to the final with Triple H, which was a surprise factor. And Brock, they used the Rumble correctly for Brock this year by, you know, setting up the Wyatt feud. So if it weren't predictable, I would have gone with Brock, yes.
I definitely would have gone with Brock. But, I mean, at the end of the day, going into the Royal Rumble, I knew it was either going to be Triple H, Reigns, or Lesnar. One of the three. Those are the only three that could win it. Ebro S. Was CM Punk leaving the start of the beginning of WWE sucking lately? Oh, no, that was going downhill way before that. I still remember CM Punk being on TV, and even his feud started sucking after a while, like the ones with Ryback, Curtis Axel. You know, stuff like that. You know, the WWE started really sucking, you know, before CM Punk left. And at least when CM Punk left, it meant that we got something good in what happened with Daniel Bryan.
Even though CM Punk was one of the characters that was likable as well with Daniel Bryan, I think it's a shame because fans may have reacted badly to one of their favourites leaving. So you could say that could be a reason why wrestling started going down. But yes, as you've been hearing our past reviews and the complaints and stuff, things were happening during CM Punk's time in the WWE that was showing something else was wrong.
Renegade Man 83. Do you think WWE is in full panic mode with the ratings going down and giving surveys to fans? I mean, during the period which the ratings usually go down, it's kind of expected. I never expected the rating to go down to a 2. I think it was a 2.3. I think the rating, the viewership dipped below 3 million for like the first time in forever. But yeah, giving surveys to fans. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to give the fans what they want. So giving surveys isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just that it is a little bit desperate. It does reek of desperation a little bit.
For a long time now, we've all been saying that the WWE seems to have their own book, their own agenda. So giving out surveys, it could be the whole making it look like they care what we think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the WWE Full Panic Mode giving out surveys, maybe there's someone that reads it, but at the end of the day, Vince has his own agenda, his own wants, desires, plans and bookings. So I think the surveys was maybe to show that he wants to make it seem that he's still listening to us.
And to be honest with you, do fans think that them filling in the survey is actually going to do anything to the WWE? Probably not. So why bother? Which is worse, Triple H being a 13-time champion, now 14, or Jeff Jarrett being a TNA 6-time champion, and why? Oh, Jeff Jarrett being a TNA 6-time champion. Because at least I can say Triple H was a main event guy. He held himself to be a main event guy, and he deserved to be a main event guy. Whereas Jeff Jarrett, it felt with Jeff Jarrett like he founded the company just for him to become the TNA World Champion. Whereas, people say, oh, Triple H, he slept with Stephanie McMahon and all that kind of stuff, and he's Vince McMahon's son-in-law, and he is the chosen one. But he justified that. He justified that, didn't he?
Yeah.
By the fact that, look at the guy. He's believable. He had good matches. He was good with the stick. He was good with the microphone. He justified that. Whereas Jeff Jarrett never justified being a World TNA champion. Never once.
I think we could go to Jeff Jarrett coming back and going off to win the championship thing that he did. And Triple H coming back and winning the WWE. I think with Jeff Jarrett disappearance and time out of TNA was different to Triple H. Triple H becoming a 14-time world champion has more of a story, credibility, reasoning behind it. So, we wouldn't. It was good. Yeah.
Predictions for WrestleMania 32. Well, I mean, at this point in time, it looks like it's going to be Reigns Triple H.
What?
Brock Lesnar, Bray Wyatt, or Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman?
Yeah, Strowman.
What other matches look like they're going to happen? Because I haven't really been watching.
I think there's going to be some big IC Championship tournament thing.
I mean, with all the injuries they've had, it's just so hard to predict what they're going to do because you think, oh yeah, John Cena, no. Charlotte, Sasha Banks probably. It's just hard to predict WrestleMania 32 when you don't even know really like the top half of the card coming out of WrestleMania. We don't even know if Roman Reigns is going to face Triple H yet. They might pull a swerve on us. You never know. And we're going to end with Robert Hernandez. If you could make a team of heels, who would they be on the current roster plus NXT? I wouldn't make a team of heels.
This goes back to what saying about factions. Yeah.
Because, I mean, we got the Wyatt family. We've got the League of Nations. We've got that social outcast faction. The New Day are technically a faction. We don't need any more factions. I'm sorry, we just don't need them. The WWE is oversaturating us with factions right now. It's going to get to the point soon where they're worse than TNA.
If anything, instead of doing factions, I'd just make more heel tag teams or base.
Or just tag teams in general.
True, yeah.
Yeah. What was the moment in wrestling that you were like, what the hell just happened? Mine is Brock beating Taker at Mania and Foley throwing off the cell. I mean, Brock beating Taker, yeah, that was a big one. I remember just looking over at you and thinking, and we were just like, what the fuck? We went silent.
I'm going to go with the most obvious, CM Punk running away with the
Oh, well, yeah,
WWE.
but no, but that was like, yeah, that was good. Yeah, I must admit, we were marking out a lot for that. You can
Oh.
actually see that in our Money in the Bank 2011 reaction video, which is a really good video. You should check that out.
Oh,
But
yes.
I think in terms of what the hell, what am I seeing? Brock beating Taker was one of them. I remember Cesaro winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. That was a little bit surprising, in my opinion. That was kind of a what the hell just happened moment. I remember I marked out hard for that.
You could see it happening, but I marked out a little bit. Ryback picking up Mark Henry. You know, that was like, ooh. You know.
Shame we didn't pick him up to win the match. But there you go.
True, yeah.
Anyway, that's the end of another Q&A. We'll be back next week with yet another Q&A where we'll answer more of your questions. I'm going to leave NJ to outro this video.
Thank you very much for watching, people. This has been another video from Ron Burgundy and whoever you want to call me.
No, here.
Hang on, just rip it off and stick on your notes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching, people. Tune in for our next Q&A because these videos are very entertaining and it's you that's keeping us alive. Without you, we have no heartbeat. Thank you very much for watching, people. Goodbye.